was a California beauty trying to escape the shadow of her famous ex-husband. He was an all-American guy trying to become a movie star. Their brutal killings stunned the nation. Number 2. The murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. On the surface, Nicole Brown and O.J. Simpson seemed like a happy Hollywood couple, but behind closed doors, the marriage was troubled.
I saw pictures of Nicole Brown Simpson beat up. I heard that 911 call, the transcript of that she saved in a safe deposit box, and I know she was a victim of domestic violence.
Nicole and O.J. divorced in October 1992. They continued to raise their children together, living in the same Brentwood, California neighborhood.
This is a very important part of their lives, was to keep up a cordial environment so that their kids would try to grow up in a healthy manner.
But for Nicole, everything came to an end on the night of June 12, 1994. Around 7 p.m., Nicole had dinner with her children and her mother at Mezzaluna Trattoria in Brentwood.
So she returns home, her mother calls and says she left her glasses behind at Mezzaluna restaurant. And so Nicole calls the restaurant, and one of the waiters agrees to bring the glasses over to her house.
The waiter was Nicole's friend, Ron Goldman.
When he left, he said to me, he said, do you want me to call you? And I said, yeah, you can call me or I'll call you. And he said, great. And then he walked one way and then walked another. And the last words that I ever heard from him was, I'll see you later.
Goldman arrived at Nicole's condo around 10:15 p.m.
Ms. Simpson came out of the condo to let Mr. Goldman in the gate, and at that point is when they were attacked.
According to the autopsy reports, an assailant stabbed Ron 11 times with a knife at least 6 inches long. During the struggle, the killer cut Ron multiple times on the neck and scalp and struck him with a blunt object on the back of his head.
He was basically cornered in a very small area. He was unarmed, and you really, as hard as you fight, eventually, especially with the loss of blood, you lose acuity and you pass out. And as hard as he fought, he really had no chance because he couldn't get away.
The killer also attacked Nicole.
What happened with Nicole Simpson, she had a cut of the neck. It went down to 2 inches to the bone.
If you sustain a cut that deep, you're pretty much not going to survive because you can't breathe. You're bleeding out. It's fatal.
Nicole was stabbed 7 more times in her neck and scalp. She was also struck on the back of the head. Police found 25-year-old Ron and 35-year-old Nicole dead on the front steps just after midnight.
Anytime you have somebody stabbed or shot or bludgeoned multiple times, your first indication that somebody was very angry, that this is a crime of passion.
You have to love a person a great deal to keep injuring the person after death. And that's part of the rage reactions.
In the days that followed, investigators discovered a bloody glove, bloody shoe prints, and other suspicious items at the murder site.
Both these victims were stabbed. It was a very personal thing, and for that reason, I'm sure it led the investigators to think that quite possibly it was a domestic situation.
According to police reports, O.J. Simpson became the prime suspect.
There was his blood all over the crime scene. There was the victim's blood in his car. There was a mountain of forensic evidence.
On June 17th, a warrant was issued for O.J.'s arrest. That afternoon, Simpson and his longtime friend Al Cowling led police on a now famous low-speed car chase in his white Bronco. O.J. eventually surrendered at his Brentwood home. In January 1995, Simpson went on trial for the double homicide. The case became a media circus.
At this time, do you wish you had pleaded guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. It touched on all these issues of race, of celebrity, of wealth, of popularity in our society. It had something for everyone.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
The O.J. Simpson, Nicole Simpson case was, at least in my memory, the most
watched event in the history of pop culture.
On October 3rd, 1995, nearly 100 million people tuned in to hear the verdict.
The jury in the above entitled action find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson.
I think the O.J. verdict happened, the acquittal, because one, O.J. could afford to have a whole team of fabulous lawyers. Second of all, you had O.J. Simpson. He was an all-American hero. People didn't want to believe he could commit such a crime.
No one else has been arrested for the murders.
Regardless of what happened, I don't think anybody came out a winner. Just one big tragedy.
Under the law, he was acquitted. Then he went on to the civil trial.
In the 1997 civil trial, O.J. Simpson was found liable for the killings. O.J. was ordered to pay the victims' families $33.5 million.
The most terrible thing about the case is that no one's paying for it. You know, no one is in jail for this. These two people are dead, but no one is paying the price for these two murders.
Simpson eventually went to jail, but for a different crime. In 2008, O.J. was convicted of the armed robbery of two sports memorabilia dealers in a Las Vegas hotel room. A judge then sentenced Simpson to serve 9 to 33 years in prison. O.J. is appealing his conviction. Up next, Hell in the Hollywood Hills, the #1 most horrifying Hollywood murder.